So here we stand before the first optional dungeon we're going through. First of two before we have to move on with the story. So this is Slyph Cave. We'd best watch our footsteps. You want to know why we have to watch our footsteps? We'll see why in a second. There's actually a gimmick to this dungeon, one of which we're going to be seeing quite a bit actually. Actually, Rosa just spelled it out. So let's go use the spell Float. So normally this is just used to avoid earth-based attacks, but in this dungeon we need to use Float in order to not get poisoned by the floor. You don't want to get poisoned, right? Eventually we come to these swamps. Yeah, if you actually stand on those, you're gonna get poisoned. So who do we have first? These aren't the worst enemies in here, but they also suck. So this is a Bog Witch with some Bog Toads. The Bog Witch has 5,211 HP, 38 Strength, 72 Defense, doesn't matter too much, because her main ability is having her toads croak. No, that doesn't mean they automatically die, sadly. That just means they're all going to cast Toad randomly on the party. The toads themselves have 1,600 HP, they're 41 strength, apparently I can't say 40, I say 30 instead, and 76 defense. So yeah, we are going to be seeing why these guys suck in a bit. I did take some precautions to try and make sure this battle wasn't so bad. Okay, the toads are now functionally useless because they can't attack as one. Okay, so basically the annoying thing about this battle is, of course, it will just randomly toad you, meaning random people will just be useless in the middle of the battle. And sometimes they'll double cast Toad on you, so you'll be toaded and untoaded, but that still makes you lose a turn because that's what transformation does. If you get transformed, you lose a turn. It's really annoying like that, so even if you don't actually get status effect, you still have your time wasted. But I prevented that by killing the Bog Witch first, so, okay. Trust me, that'll go a lot worse off screen, especially when there are more Bog Toads, and also I don't slow the Witch in time. But you will only see the first battle with those guys. Unless, of course, they appear with some other enemy, but I'm pretty sure they don't at any points. Alright, why didn't I actually go after that item? I think... No, does it lead to another passage? Because I'm pretty sure the passage to the other way is on this side of the map. Okay, so these guys are called tunnelers. They're not really tough enemies. However, I do absolutely love their names from the Game Boy Advance version of the game. And the Game Boy Advance version, they're called Undergrounders. That's such a dumb name, but I love it. We are the Undergrounders! We're a great band! With 1,114 HP, 30 strength, 60 defense. And they actually do have Earthquake, which is useless because you're going to be using the spell Float on this floor anyway. Oh yeah, by the way, you know what sucks about Float? Whenever you go to a different floor, you don't have Float on anymore. That's great, right? That's really fun. So you have to make sure to remember to renew Float every single time. And I didn't forget that chest, right? You must just... Yeah, you have to go get it from somewhere else. I wouldn't have missed a chest, but anyway, yeah. Every time you have to use Float, it's so annoying. And of course, the first time you play the game... Oh yeah, by the way, there's just a save point right here because, this sure is a dungeon that goes on for a long time, so you might need it. But anyway, yeah, if you're playing this game for your first time, you probably don't know about that. So, chances are, you're just going to go to a different floor and then step in poison, and then you'll wonder, wait, but I have Float on, why am I in pain now? Maybe the Undergrounders are there to show you that you don't have Float, Like if you get lucky and go to a new floor but then encounter one of them, you'll be like, wait a minute, I don't have float on for some reason and now they're using earthquake on me. That's not good. Either way though, yeah, it's kind of bad. I really wish that float just lasted, you know, for the entire dungeon until it was dispelled or something. That'd be nice. Doesn't disappear unless it's dispelled, and hey, you could make a fun challenge out of having enemies in the dungeon who cast like gravity spell. Well, not gravity, that's the HP cutting spell that I'm fairly certain isn't even in this game. I might be wrong about that actually. I'm thinking of one particular example. I know of one boss who might have gravity type attacks, but we're not getting to him for a while. But yeah, there is actually an enemy in either this dungeon or a dungeon that uses a similar gimmick to this. And, yeah, the enemies there do have some sort of move that will put you on the ground. So you have to pay attention to that, and then you just renew the spell once you're done with the fight. Alright, so High Potion, Ether, and Soma Drop. Good items, at least. These are all some very good HP and MP increasing items. I think that's actually a... Oh, dear God! Oh, you probably know what enemies those are, right? Those are Malboros, 7,140 HP. They also have 37 strength and 70 defense, but who cares about that? They have 2 attacks. So the first one is Bile, which, you know, isn't one you've probably heard of. Sometimes known as digestive acid. Basically, it just inflicts damage and sap. That's fairly bad on its own. Bad breath is even worse. It just gives you a whole lot of status effects. Like, all of them. At the same time. See Rosa there? She's not really having a good time, is she? Yeah, that's because Malboros are kind of the worst. Actually, they're not even the worst in this game. Let's see. I'm pretty sure 7 is the first game in which they're really bad. Let's see. I'm trying to recall what games they're in. Were they in Final Fantasy 3? Oh, actually, they were in Final Fantasy 2, weren't they? In, like, the tower where you get, Ultima, I think it was? So, yeah, I'm pretty sure Malboros were encountered there. I am absolutely certain they're not in the original Final Fantasy, though. I do not remember seeing them there. I don't think they were in Final Fantasy 3, though. Pretty sure I would have remembered complaining about them there. They're in Final Fantasy 6, but honestly, they're really not a problem there. 7 is where they're pretty awful. And then 8. Oh, God. Oh, Malboros in Final Fantasy 8. So, basic summary for that, welcome to hell. Okay, so anyway, thank goodness Cecil has a Suna on him, because that is helpful for if Rosa gets into any trouble. By the way, this is a really long dungeon, and actually there are 2 segments to this dungeon. We're going to be doing the, side plot important one first, I guess. Oh, great, Mage Masher. Wait, enemy ambush, don't tell me it's... Okay, thank God, it's just these fuckers. Okay, so we will be seeing these again. They are, chest encounters, enemy ambushes. Oh boy, now we get to see their gimmick. Oh yeah, and of course it wastes time, because it's not that slow of a spell, but like with the bat-type enemies, with their blood-suck ability, you just have to watch every single one use their spell, and it's the worst. And see, now Kane's just confused. He's like, whoa, what, how far along the AT bar am I? ATB bar, rather? Okay, there I am. So, yeah. And please don't ruin Kane or Edge's attacks. Thank you for not affecting Rosa. I'm gonna guess Rosa has some protection, right? Since they're consistently missing her. Oh, god damn it. Well, thanks for that. And the worst part is I can't even counter these guys. That is pretty bad, but hey, I paralyzed her. That's good, right? So now she can't do anything. And hopefully soon she will be dead. And hopefully soon I will be able to say the word soon. That would also be nice. Go Edge! You use that frog ninjutsu on that witch. Eventually, if you do enough 1 damages, you'll kill her, probably, maybe. It's very unlikely. Have I not even cried at... Oh yeah, of course I haven't cried at the toads. If I had, they'd be all dark and whatnot. See, now they have a tint on them. And now, without their master, I'm just going to bludgeon them all. And thank goodness for that. And again, that's not even the worst. I actually got kinda lucky there in that they repeatedly went after the same characters. So anyway, yeah, I was actually thinking of a different enemy that I thought was in like every enemy ambush encounter in this dungeon, but apparently not. Only a majority of them. They're not difficult enemies by any stretch of the imagination, but they are the absolute worst. Oh boy. Alright, nobody leveled up off that, unfortunately. So we got the Mage Masher, right? That, I believe, inflicts silence if you attack somebody with it. That's pretty much always what it does. Mage Masher is effective against mages, who would have guessed? Right, so what was I saying before? Did I get it all out? I was saying how one path is side plot progression, the other one is just treasures. If I didn't say all that before, well, now I have. Anyway, here's an easy passage to this chest, which you can just walk to from here. I mean, there's poison in the way, but you have float. There's another shortcut over there, but I want to fill out the map. I mean, if I'm going through the dungeon, I'm gonna get the map. Oh, fuck. Here they are! The worst enemies! These are evil dreamers! 4,721 HP. Who gives a shit about their strength? They know Fyra, Slyph, and Silence. And they never stop using it. They always come in groups of 4, and they always use the spells. All of them. Every single one just uses the spells all the time. So can you see how this would get annoying? If you don't have any protection. Okay, I'm getting silenced. Whatever, I don't care. Kill them. Kill them all. Just kill them as soon as you can, guys. Best strategy against these assholes. Use items to stop them. Because chances are, in this barrage of silence, you're probably going to get silenced. There's a good chance of that happening. Oh yeah, and of course, the other worst thing about it is, they're really fucking fast, because look at that! How many times have they moved? How many times have we moved? Edge is still trying to use the bestiary, for God's sake. Cry is also very helpful here because you want these guys to have as little defense as possible. And there's not much else to say about it. And Fyra, they're not even that powerful with Fyra. Look at that. I mean, I guess it's a decent amount of damage, especially amongst our lower HP'd characters. And if they all use it, then that would be very bad. And considering they do get a lot of attacks, and considering most of us are also silenced, well, mostly everyone who counts. At least Rosa isn't silenced, but also that dual cast does have a slight drawback, in that no matter what type of healing I use, Just because I'm using 2 healings at once, it's gonna take longer to cast. Speaking of longer to cast... I'm just waiting for them to do something awful. I know they're going to do something. I'm just waiting for these assholes to be even worse. I'm waiting for it. Oh yeah, they also absorb fire and have no other weaknesses, just FYI. In case you thought you'd be able to wipe them all out in a single magic attack, no, fuck you, you can't. Why would you get any advantage here? That would just be, I don't know, not boring? This game is usually pretty good about status effects, and I don't usually mark them down. So maybe they're actually weak to instant death. I never think to try that, because instant death usually doesn't work in these games, but these guys are so annoying, I think maybe instant death spells might be good. Except I just realized, I don't even know if we have instant death spells. Those are black magic. And of course, I cut out most random battles, so if Rydia leveled up and learned death, then I didn't notice. We're almost done with the fight. Maybe they'd also be weak to Berserk as well. Of course, the other problem is half the time most people spend silenced anyway, so since Rosa seems to be protected, in my case I think I'd want to try Berserk, just because Rydia can't really do anything, so if they are weak to death, then I can't really do anything about it, but I could at least Berserk him, and he is paralyzed, so this battle is basically over, and thank God for that. How long has this been running? I should have made note of when this battle started, but now we're ending at 17:21. And we barely got any fucking experience from that fight. So yeah, we're gonna be fighting a lot of those guys in this dungeon, and I'm cutting out all future battles with them because they're all boring. So here we have this quaint little house. Who lives here anyway? Ooh, treasure chests. Sylphs as well. Don't worry, I'm just taking this, for your protection. Yeah. Alright, so that would be a staff, which I'm not going to use because none of my characters use staffs, but we also have a pretty good sword for edge. Looks pretty cool as well. Well, I don't... Wait. Yang! Yang? What? Can you do anything about it? Oh, come on. Come on, guys, work harder. Yes. Excuse me. He is my battle buddy. How dare you tell me how to take care of him? Okay, so Yang is down here. So, apparently he survived as well, but I'm not as concerned with that as I am with Sid's death, or death and then survival of said supposed death. By the way, this is where we had to do the dungeon over again in order to get treasure, but anyway, more importantly, Yang. His death was bullshit in the first place, because of course you had the goblin captains. That was stupid, and a terrible way to kill off a character. So, I'm already kind of in the mood to say, well, I'll let a bullshit survival slide. Plus, I will accept Saved by Fairies, because falling to the ground is implausible after exploding. I don't know how you'd survive that, but you know what? This is a magical explanation, so whatever, I'll accept it. Plus, I like Yang, so we want to make sure he is very alive, and he does seem to be alive. He's just very asleep right now, so we gotta wake him up. That Sylph did mention something about how their love wasn't enough to wake him up. So, I'm thinking personally the key word here is love. Unfortunately, I don't think we can get Sid down here, because apparently those two were buddy-buddy. I don't know, Sid did have that line about joining Yang, or keeping him company. Though in fairness, Sid did also seem like he had a thing going on with Tella, so who knows? Maybe that was a three-way thing, maybe Sid and Yang were just pals. I don't know the whole story, I didn't talk to them that much. But anyway, the point is, we're not going to get any help in the underground, so let's try to focus on something else for the time being. Like the worst possible group in the planet! That's great! Okay, that Elder Treant cast Berserk on itself. So, it's got 6,715 HP. That's a lot of HP. It's also got 45 strength, which would be 90 strength if Berserk precisely doubles his strength. If not, that's give or take 90 strength then. So now he's going to be very fast and he's going to punch us in the face. So you might be wondering, who do we want to focus on first? The answer is I don't fucking know. All of these people are the worst. None of them are people, they're monsters. And also terrible monsters who are awful. Evil Dreamer will of course absorb the fire, but everyone else is weak to it, so fuck it, I don't care. I mean, I know there's only one Evil Dreamer this time, but every one of these enemies brings something awful to the table, and I kind of hate each and every one of them individually. You probably want to kill the Malboro first, though, because he is the biggest status effect dude. Hey, Evil Dreamer, I think Malboro's trying to one-up you? Maybe you should kill him. Just throwing that out there, I mean, he's totally getting onto your turf. You should really do something about him. Or not, maybe you could roast me. I don't care, it was a suggestion. I'm not bitter or anything, and oh great, now Toad Edge is confused. Anything but that. Now his tiny little froggy fists are going to smack me in the face. Oh god damn it, now Rydia's a confused frog. Oh great, now Rydia's a dead frog. Now we have a dead tree. But we also have these fuckers to deal with still, so I don't really know how to feel about any of this, other than pure, unfiltered hatred of both of these individuals. I hate them both so very much. Okay, so we'll take care of the Malboro next, and then we'll get rid of Evil Dreamer, because alone, he's not really much of a threat. Malboro, on the other hand, has a fair amount of HP, and unwavering hatred of everything happy and alive. Evil Dreamer, on the other hand, just hate it when people aren't bored. He's desperate to make sure everybody possible is very bored. Okay, so now Rydia Frog is alive again, but also my sort of damage dealers are both asleep. I don't know, I think Kane does more damage than Edge at the moment, especially with that axe. And now we get to watch everyone be roasted, that's great. Oh, joy. Oh, double joy. Well, at least nobody's dead. And thank God Rosa kicked in with a Cura just as I said that, because even in the past, that would have come back to bite me in the ass. I know, all the way in the past. This has already been recorded, and yet I somehow would have screwed myself over anyway. And past me never would have known. Wait, maybe I do that to myself a lot. What if future me is the constant source of woe for past me? Future me, you bastard! Hope I never grow up to be that guy. Anyway, Malboro's dead, so now we only have the... Can't settle on minor inconvenience or major inconvenience. He's kind of in between. Okay, so we only have the mid-inconvenience left, and of course we miss him. I suppose Rydia's about as inaccurate as Kane is. They're both kinda bad at hitting things sometime, but hey, look at all those attacks lined up, and oh look, he's dead now. Ah crap, I should have looked to see how, or what time we started this, but now we're at 24 minutes. Okay, so if we run into any of those fights ever again, we're skipping those, cause oh my god, they're annoying. Does every enemy in this dungeon have to be the absolute worst? Because to be honest, I'd like the answer to be no, but I think that's asking too much. It's also apparently asking too much to not have to use float every floor. I'm sure when it's a good status effect you take it off all the time. Actually, to be fair, Final Fantasy VII is like the exact opposite of most RPGs, where the sort of good status effects are the only ones that last after battle. Everything else ends and it's kinda nice. I say kind of good because basically it's just both of the ones that affect your limit meter. The ones that make it go up faster, those are pretty good. But I think it also lowers your defense. But who cares about that? You get limit breaks faster. It's pretty great. Oh, an emergency exit. I'd love to use that, but I can't. This fucking hell pit of a dungeon. This video is 40 minutes, so I got about 14 left. And don't worry, you won't experience... Oh, silver apple. Okay, at least it's generous with treasures. Oh, actually, we're at the end of the dungeon. I just realized that. We're at the end. These are the final chests. And guess what? We are so skipping this. Oh, look, the battle's over. I'm just checking Nico Atsume because why the goddammit Tubbs! Oh, Moonring Blade. What enemies are we fighting here? This is also the worst! Pro tip. You might be beaten to death by trees, but all the enemies in that fight are weak to fire, so provided they don't actually aim for Rydia, you'll have a, not as terrible time with that fight. It's still bad, but, you know, it won't be quite as long. Again, provided Rydia doesn't get knocked out, which happened to me. So I had to wait a while to revive her. That was fun. Oh boy, Avenger. What sword is that again? I forget. Either way, though, more Malboros. Oh, joy. Alright, we're done here. You know, if I was smart, I would have brought my DS over here. You know, just get a head start. Do some battle chateauing to get my EV team raised. But no. And then bring my DS with me. Because for some reason it slipped my mind that this is just going to be filled with horrible battles that you're not going to see anyway. Okay, I think the Avengers deal is that yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a sword that causes Cecil to always be in Berserk mode. Let's test that theory. Yes, indeed. So, now Cecil will be very, very angry forever, and he is now unstoppable. Unless you stop him. But, hey, he does seem resistant to sleep, right? So, hey, maybe Cecil's pure, unfiltered rage will prevent him from being hit by sleep ever again. Of course, now my most powerful character is completely uncontrollable, which is kind of bad when there are 4 targets. So, this might not be the best sword for the job. But at the same time, Cecil does do a lot more damage, so, silver lining? Pro tip. Cecil might be bigger and faster and stronger too, but it seems like his accuracy also kinda goes to shit, so be wary of that. Alright. What are you? Wait, what? Oh, you guys are easy! I should have saved you for last. If I had known I was fighting some undergrounders, I would have made this my reward for clearing the rest of the chests. But chances are, the one I saved was just a box of evil dreamers, right? Let me guess. Blue Fang, an item I'm probably never going to use, and... Special thanks to the silver hourglasses. They made life so much easier. Oh my god. We're done. We're done with Sylph Cave until we can figure out a way to wake Yong up. And even then, I think that's going to be a lot easier than that. So, let's just hop on our airship and try to forget that horrible, horrible place. Our next destination is all the way out on this island in the middle of the magma. So, we're gonna stop here, because I'm tired of optional dungeons. Next time on Final Fantasy IV, we do a different, less annoying optional dungeon.